Now it's my privilege to introduce the Hall of Fame Awards. Started in 1996, the Hall of Fame began as a way to recognize the early leaders in our industry. These pioneers include Elizabeth Noon, editor of Instructor, Maurice Robinson, founder of Scholastic, Gary and Caroline Myers, founders of Highlights for Children, and Eleanor M. Johnson, founder of My Weekly Reader. Each one of them entered the burgeoning area of education and made it their mission to engage, elevate, and encourage children's learning goals. Their accomplishments include giving teachers a resource to support their professional needs, creating a magazine to develop young children's reading skills, and developing challenging classroom materials that engage students on the issues important to their world. These winners paved the way for the robust, thriving industry we have today. Now we have new leaders carrying on the tradition, pushing for research and innovations to enable all children to receive a world-class education. Both of our award winners tonight have led their companies to remarkable growth, but for them it wasn't just about profits or expanding product lines. Dan Caton and Marjorie Scardino have changed the way we think about the business and have pushed us to find new ways to serve teachers and students. By adapting new technologies, encouraging new collaborations, and opening new distribution channels to provide equal access, tonight's Hall of Fame honorees are proud additions to this illustrious group. Before we honor them, I want to acknowledge the previous winners who are with us this evening. So I would ask the following to please stand as their name is called. Dick Casaubon, Kathy Hurley, Paul McFall, Dick Robinson, Marty Smith, Charlotte Frank, and Karen Billings. Thank you. We are honored to have you all with us tonight. Now, please welcome Beth Ray, former Senior Vice President of Pearson. Beth.
Good evening, everyone. It is a real pleasure to see so many friends and colleagues here tonight. In our small industry, we cross paths often, and that can reap some very rich rewards, as it has in my case with Dan Caton. I first met Dan in 1983 on my very first day in the industry after leaving teaching. He was editorial director at the Economy Company and delivering my sales training on the new Spanish reading program. Our paths crossed again in 1985 at Ginn & Company, and then in 2000 at Computer Curriculum Corporation. When I went to lead that organization, Dan was director of product development and had already brought with him an impressive track record of successes. Later at Pearson Learning Group, I knew Dan was the person to bring leadership and creativity to the product development organization. You'll have to ask Dan what role a hand-delivered harvest berry pie played in my successful recruiting strategy. But at Pearson Learning Group, I saw how Dan developed people, fostered collaboration for innovation, and advanced our technology strategy. He was the person I chose to replace me when the time came, and he succeeded in that role and then went on to greater success at McGraw-Hill Education. Tonight, I'm not going to speak to all of his many accomplishments, which are well documented in the profile and certainly in his career achievements. Tonight, I get to speak to what I've learned about Dan in the last 30 years, the substance behind the achievements that makes him so deserving of this honor. 1, Dan believes that success is a team sport. His humility and respect for the contributions of others give employees the confidence, the courage, and the skills to innovate. Dan holds no sacred cows, and he loves a meaty debate if it helps make a product great. At McGraw-Hill, he fostered successful collaboration across 4 development sites with widely different cultures. At Pearson, he and his team won the first ever worldwide Pearson Collaboration Award for successful development collaboration across 4 English-speaking countries. Dan is also notoriously collaborative when challenges arise. He brings all hands on deck, and the process is richer and the solution better because of it. Dan doesn't just endorse collaboration, Dan lives collaboration. Number 2, Dan digs in. Dan privileges first-hand knowledge, bone-deep understanding of the organization, of the work, and of our customers. Many people in senior roles have many internal corporate demands that take their time. No matter what, Dan made the time to know the work deeply. No driving the desk for Dan and getting out of touch. He often says, you can't know from a distance. He made sure his teams had the same deep knowledge of customer needs, and this, along with his attention to the importance of design, assured the products developed under his leadership were market leaders and enhanced the student experience. One of those such successes was the market-leading Scott Forsman Addison Wesley Mathematics program developed under Dan's leadership. The authorship team, which he helped assemble, went on to continued success as the authorship team for Pearson's Envision Math. 3, Dan gets personal. Dan doesn't just bring corporate energy and executive energy to his work, he brings personal energy. His wit and warm humor form personal connections that bond people to each other and to the success of the organization. Dan communicated continuously with his teams, both formally and informally, and even started one of the first internal blogs of McGraw-Hill Education. His team saw him pitch in, go to bat for them, and even bend the rules for them. Someone said that when Dan walks into the room, he brings the oxygen. In addition to bringing the oxygen, he brings humility and perspective, and being wicked smart and well-read doesn't hurt either. He has the gift to create the perfect balance of the personal and the professional to bring the best out in people. Dan's personal compassion and leadership were never more apparent than on the morning of September 11th, as he and I raced to the Parsippany, New Jersey office to help our employees, many of whom had spouses and family members working in the financial district in Manhattan. Through the confusion and panic, Dan's was a voice of calm and empathy that our employees will never forget. Dan's personal commitment to the industry is also well known, and its impact lives on. The diversity initiative started when Dan was the president of the AAP board, continues. And Dan was involved in the early collaborations that led to the coming together of the AAP and the AEP, represented by this lovely event tonight. For Dan, it is always about people. His dedication to his family, his work colleagues, and to the teachers he serves, those educators who sense his deep respect for them and his commitment to understand and reflect their needs in instructional tools. Dan, we honor you this evening for all you've contributed and accomplished as an educator, as a product developer, as a technology advocate, as an executive, and as a friend to so many people here. And we look forward to seeing your next act, because anyone who knows you are far from finished contributing. And tonight we thank you for your legacy. which enriches and inspires the industry for tomorrow. Dan, congratulations.
Well, thank you, Beth. Those comments were most generous, and I really appreciate the thoughtfulness that went into them. As you've heard or perhaps read about, I have bummed around this industry for a few decades, and I've done just about every job there is to do in the industry. And that puts me in mind of the wise words of one of America's great philosophers, Lily Tomlin, who said, I always knew I wanted to be somebody. I should have been more specific. Maybe this award will force me to be a little bit more specific. There are many more people to thank for this award. First of course, my thanks to the what was the AAP board, now the K-12 Learning Group, board for deciding I was old enough for this award. Dick talked about his father who was awarded posthumously and others who have been awarded posthumously, and I hope that's not the case in my case, but we'll check the obits tomorrow in the Times. My thanks to the leaders and staff of the K-12 Learning Group, Tom, of course, and Jay, Susan, Joanne, Colleen, Stacy, Brittany, David. I'm probably missing some people, but thank you all for your support over the years as well. My thanks also to the many mentors and role models I've had in my career. We've talked about mentors several times in the remarks tonight. Many of the mentors knew they were my mentors, and sometimes they didn't know they were my mentors, but these are the people who make sure our industry is always improving and make it possible for those of us who follow them to stand on their shoulders and look so much taller. Beth Ray is one of those people who helped me to understand how a leader behaves and is effective, and who gave me so many opportunities to spread my wings and meet new challenges. There are a number of people who are no longer with us and who could just as easily should be standing in my place tonight. People like Mary Ansaldo of Ginn & Company, Pat Dunahee of Silver Burdett & Ginn, and Al Bursma of D.C. Heath come to mind, and there are many others. These are people who taught me what being a leader was, and how letting a little bit of your sense of humor mix with strong decision making and what a strong leader that can make. Bill Olte and Terry McGraw are both people who gave me uncountable opportunities over the last several years at McGraw-Hill, and I can never thank them enough for all that they did for me. And then, of course, as I've often called her, my hero, Marjorie Scardino, who somehow mixes tough decision-making with deep humanity and a joy for life and a pretty wicked sense of humor, and somehow that mix comes out one of the most impressive business leaders I've ever known. But truly, everyone I've worked with, and many of you are in this room, are my inspirations. I have learned from you, modeled decisions on those that you've made, stolen ideas and tactics and even jokes occasionally, just as it should be when we're working together to build an industry. I do get a few minutes to give you my vision of the future, but I don't think I can do that. What I'd rather do is maybe give you a couple of challenges with how we should create the future. In this industry, we often hear that we have to respond to what our customers want. And of course, in recent years, we have been absorbed with shoveling as much promotion at them as possible about how we are responding with programs and services that are going to satisfy their needs for instance, the Common Core standards. which push reading and math. Now, don't misunderstand, I'm a big supporter of the Common Core standards, but I don't think we recognize enough in this industry that we actually drive markets. We don't just respond to markets. We drive markets in directions based on what we create that is fresh and new and inspiring. To that end, I encourage each of you to think about ways we can help America enrich its curriculum. Yes, reading and math are foundational skills and are important for everything else that comes along behind it. But let's recognize that students become better at these skills because they are pursuing interests in other disciplines. So we need to look for every opportunity to enrich our science curriculum, to create better citizens through captivating history, geography, and civics. Every student should be studying and personally practicing graphic arts and music. This engagement with real issues and other areas of study will improve reading and math, and because there will be a reason to do them, not just a bunch of regulations that require them. But how do we assure that a richer curriculum is embraced? The best way is by providing the highest quality products and services that we can. Let me elaborate. We all know what a complex dance of skills for a successful learning resources company to succeed. Sales excellence has always been at the top of that list, and we now have many more technological tools to sharpen our sales skills and our sales management skills. Over the last decade, we've also recognized true state-of-the-art marketing, and we have many more tools there, and particularly with social media, to reach our customers in a more targeted way. Unsung heroes are also important. People in IT, quality assurance, inventory, finance. These are just as important. But here I want to lobby for us to all continue to recognize that now more than ever, quality content and curriculum is what must get most of our attention. Our industry was founded on the realization that educators need help with what goes on in the classroom, and this is even more true today than ever. Many of those educators now believe that they can create the curriculum and content themselves, or they can trust the teacher down the hall or a collection of teachers in the district office. By and large, they're wrong. This movement, taken to an extreme, cheats students out of the quality digital and print materials that they need so desperately. The only way to fend off this, however, is not through lobbying, it's not through promotion, it's not through better marketing. It's by creating the best quality content that we can. Quality comes in many disguises, and we all have our own definitions of quality, but here are a few things that we have to pay attention to. Our content and curriculum must be unerringly accurate. It has to be on the next page. It has to be classroom tested for efficacy, and if it isn't working, we have to test it over and over again until it does. It has to be engaging, which to me does not necessarily mean that it has to be fun, though that doesn't hurt, but it has to capture the student's attention and challenge them. And it has to be graphically superior, gorgeous, motivating, but most important, perfectly organized and easy to access. When all these factors work together to create world-class materials, we not only educate a generation of students far more effectively, but we save an industry. So those are my thoughts. On a more personal note, I want to thank my family for all that they've done for me over the decades to make this career possible. My sister Aline, who is a teacher, was a teacher in Portland, Oregon, is here tonight, and has become a close friend and confidant over the past few decades, and I thank her for being here. My two wonderful sons, Nick and Chris, are here with their very patient wives. I'm sorry to say there's more than a small dose of me in them, and so their wives have to be very patient. Both of these guys are smarter and more focused than I am. That's a big challenge for me to live up to in the first place, but their vision of who they think I am and who they think I ought to be is a daily challenge that makes me a better person. But the one person who knows exactly who I am and who has been willing to be my life partner for 44 years is Liz, who I have dragged from one godforsaken publishing center in the United States to another. I think we're up to 7, right? Not once did she ever complain. She is the most unaffected, kind, honest, and decent person I have ever met. And I learn from her every day how to be a better person. I was stupid enough when I was young to marry her because she was gorgeous, but I was lucky enough to marry her when I was very young to find out for decades that she enriches everyone around her. So thank you, my family, for your support, and thank you all for this award.